Now, if you've got $17,995 to spend, what better way to spend it than a Golf liveried Messerschmitt microcar? Wow, a twin wheel transit van crew bus, I think it is in actual fact. It's a later one because it's obviously got those facelift front. Didn't those lights go on to the Mark 1 Discovery from Land Rover? I don't know. Looks like it almost looks like a BA livery, that one, doesn't it? Again, rare that you're going to see one of those in that condition, although that's I parked next to one in the car park. So this Mondeo estate belongs to Danny Hopkins of Practical Classics fame. It's a 1997 V6 gear estate, becoming pretty rare now. This is one of obviously the facelift cars. They changed the front end of these cars, I guess, to reflect the new edge styling. It didn't resonate with everybody, I must admit. Apart from the greenery on it, it's not looking in such bad shape, is it? And as a V6 estate, that must make it pretty rare, I would have thought. So it's hard to believe this Mazda 323 is from 1991. I mean, sort of 33 years old. That is an incredible survivor. It didn't seem that long ago, to be fair. The owner bought it 20 years ago and is in the process of trying to restore it. It did come in as a part exchange to the garage you worked at. Needs a fair bit of welding. It looks like the old windows disappeared. The seats are out of it. Hopefully he's still got them. But Mazda 323. Yeah, wow. Seen one for a while. So what, I hear you cry, in the name of the Lord, is this? Well, it is a Cadillac flower car from 1950. So cool, because I believe it used to carry the flowers for the funeral procession at the back. So it's got a handy pickup in there, but a Cadillac pickup, yeah, that's something else. It's still got its fins, brought over by the owner originally to support another project, and it's actually survived that, and I think he might be trying to look to restore it. There's a lot of car there. That is going to need a big old barn or garage. So this former search and rescue vehicle is a Vauxhall Frontera. Remember them? They were built in a plant in Luton, and the original design is an Isuzu design, and actually the Frontera name is coming back on another vehicle pretty soon, but you are very, very seldom going to see one of those today. This one was rescued from a potentially tough end to its life, going to Ukraine, so it's here today. Fabulous. So the Scimitar SS1 was actually superseded by the Sabre with some styling changes, but in actual fact this was designed to fit in the small sports car segment for Reliant, probably towards the back end of the life of Reliant. They used the smaller, I think 1.4, 1.3 and 1.6 engine CVH Ford engine, and there was also a higher powered 1.8 using the engine from the Nissan Silvia. This one's in beautiful order. You know, the high fiberglass can crack over the years, but this one is a Bobby Dazzler inside and out. The dash hasn't cracked. It looks pretty amazing, doesn't it? Wow. So this 1982 Starlet is believed to be one of two left, or this particular model. It's in superb order. It's only done, I think, 31,000 miles and survived a house fire intact, safely tucked away in the garage, and it is an absolute Bobby Dazzler. That paint is superb. Now apparently after sort of 19 years in storage or something, they pulled it out, connected the battery, probably put a bit of fuel in, and guess what? Typical Toyota style, it ran straight away. Incredible. And next to it we've got a later Celica. That's a stunning colour as well, isn't it, that one? So from the final year of production is this Matra Simca Bagheera. Now this has got the 1442 Simca engine in, I think replaced by the Muriner. And the reason I love these so much is the fact they're a three-seater. Oh, there's a cat. Or is it a Jaguar in the middle seat? I don't know, but there's somebody in the middle seat. Very nicely demonstrating its three-seat capability. Glass hatchback, pretty unusual to see these. I don't think ever officially imported into the UK. And perfectly teed up for me, the next one is a Muriner, the successor with the pop-up lights. This is a pretty little car, isn't it? Also a three-seater again, and They're quite a looker, aren't they? Quite a looker. And I guess with Talbot parts, probably you can still get parts, engine parts anyway. With its yellow headlamps, with skis on the roof, and a few suitcases, you're all ready for your winter holiday. So winner of the first Car of the Year award was the P6 Rover, and this was a massive step forward in terms of safety and style at the time. Early cars like this one you don't see so often. I tend to see the later cars, but it's in lovely condition, isn't it? So this, I believe, was the last car to bear the Bond name. So Bond was bought by Reliant and continued to build three-wheelers, but this only in orange, Bond Bug. Now this one is brilliant apparently, and I'm going to show you this rather than read this one out. A 5-year restoration, so and lots of naughty words apparently to get it to this level, and it is absolutely awesome. It's a stunner, isn't it? What a car. So far better and far more developed than maybe it would indicate. It's not really a kit in the same sense. Developed by an ex-Jaguar engineer, Howell Dermott. Did particularly well until, unfortunately, they had a very bad factory fire that really destroyed production at the company for a while. In fact, they're so good, there's an Alpha engine, one of these, owned by Gordon Murray. Yeah, and that one's got 230,000 miles, well, this particular one has, I should say. So you didn't expect me to walk past the Mercedes 190 W201, did you? This is a relatively standard car with the gully decal alloy wheels on it, suspension slightly lowered. Now, interestingly enough, going by the badging on this one, it's a 190, not a 190E. And the 190, this was the last carburettor equipped car Mercedes ever made. And this must be on the verge of the change. They moved from a carburettor 2 litre, an injected 2 litre, to 2 injected, a 2 litre and a 1.8. Renault 5 GT Turbo Phase 2. Great to see that, isn't it? Looks relatively standard. Most of these were modified to within an inch of their lives, but this one appears to have survived the max power period and come through it with flying colours. Good to see that here today, isn't it? So what do we have here? Well, we have a Rover SD3, which was the model acronym given to this. It was based on the Honda, I think the Honda Ballade again, but this one's got the 1.6 engine in from the Rover range. It's having a fair bit of work done by the look of it. The old passenger seats out and the trim's out as well, so let's hope they can get that back together in time. Of course, there's a trusty Haynes manual on hand to help, and as we all know, reassembly is the opposite of disassembly, or so they say. But it's in a stunning blue. Is that Moonraker blue? I'm not sure. There's a lot to like about the Honda Legend based Rover 800, but particularly the fastback version. Now, I drove these back in the day. I think I drove an 827, which really flew, actually, to be honest with you. I think this one is what, Nightfire Red? Oh, it's the 820 Turbo as well. A bit of performance there. That is in great condition. So shout out to the Modern Classic Executive Group, and first of all we've got the UK produced Nissan Bluebird. So really the first car to put Nissan on the map in the UK, built up in Sunderland, replaced by the Primera. This one in black. He's got that lovely period interior, that sort of crushed velour type seats. So it's an automatic as well. It's a beauty, isn't it? What a beauty. We'll try and go backwards here without completely tripping over. Super. As featured in Practical Classics is this lovely 1983 Austin Metro, which has also been at Festival of the Unexceptional. Probably looking forward to a good old detail is this MG Montego Turbo. I remember a relative of mine had one of these, and it used to go through front tyres in about 5,000 or 6,000 miles, but I think they drove it like they stole it. But a lot of power and a rare car now. So this Vauxhall Viva HC was featured in a Channel 5 programme called My Yorkshire with Jane McDonald in. I like it already. And it was about her earliest childhood memories of actually riding in a car like this one. This HC is in absolutely great condition, I have to say, and see why she liked driving it. Now this little beauty is a Fiske 325cc 2-cylinder Villiers engine. This is when microcars were really popular in the UK in the 50s. I think around the time of the Suez petrol crisis, microcars became quite popular. There were quite a lot of three-wheeler cars, but Fiske had also got the four-wheeler cars, and this one was one that was found in the remains of the old factory back in the early 80s. What a survivor. It's difficult to show on camera how big it is in context, but honestly this is tiny. No, your eyes do not deceive you, it is indeed a Puma van, but Ford never made one. So what happened? Well, the enterprising guys at the Puma Shack have actually grafted a Puma front end onto a Fiesta van. I'm not sure it was called a Fiesta van because it's got the box on the back. I'm sure it had a different name to that, but I can't remember at the moment. But I'm not even sure if they put the full running gear in, but it looks pretty well resolved, doesn't it? It looks like they could have done that. It's an interesting meeting of a Puma versus a van. I never thought I'd say that. An interesting contrast with the Puma racing at the side of it, isn't it? So left field, not enough for you so far. Well, here we've got a touring car liveried Ford Transit, four-wheel drive with a full XXX livery. You're not going to see too many of those, I would say. I've seen this van before, and I've seen it at Ford Fest last year, and it absolutely stood out in every possible way. It stood out because it's that big. Wow. Oh, that's nice, isn't it? A Mark III Cortina 3-litre XLE. It's a South African spec. Don't think we ever got a 3-litre engine. I think the biggest we got here was a 2. 157 horsepower and 114 mile an hour top speed, it says. Interesting Webasto roof and a white vinyl roof. Wow. Despite not turning a wheel for 30 years, Danny Hopkins from Practical Classics has reinvigorated this Morris Marina Coupe, and hasn't he done a good job with it? Not a particularly well-known fact, but this car was the basis for developing the Hyundai Pony by George Turnbull, who subsequently left Austin Morris and went to Hyundai. So this was bought by a member of the team for a road trip to Scotland, and it's somehow stuck around. It's an E36 BMW 318i Cabriolet. It looks in superb order. I think it was an eBay purchase that was bought for an absolute song, and the guy who bought it is actually fallen in love with it, so he's not managed to actually shift it yet. He's sort of hanging on to it, and I can see why. So this is a Rover P6, but one with a difference. In actual fact, it's a Rover P6 Estora, so it's the estate version, built at the behest of HR Owing Group. They built in low hundreds the numbers. I think another company might have had a bash at this. You can see that the tailgate cuts into the roof somewhat. The vinyl roof probably disguises where the welds are, and it involves the relocation of the petrol tank from behind the rear seat. So a lot of work involved in putting these cars together, and this owner's restored this one, and it's absolutely lovely, isn't it? Let's get a shot of it from the front. You wouldn't know until you got round the back that it was not a normal P6. So from a time when you didn't need to take out a bank loan to buy a stamp, is this Morris Minor van in full Royal Mail livery, reminding us that the mail went metric from the 29th September, whatever year that was. It's in good condition. Oh, still got the post bags in the back. Probably that's where my post is, still on its way to me, and it's in really good condition. Okay, I was going to say it's in first class condition, but that's a very, very poor pun, isn't it? But yeah, lovely to see that, and that somebody takes all the effort to bring a van like that back to life. That's incredible, isn't it? So you might be wondering what this is. Well, in actual fact, it's a Morgan. It's a Plus 4 Plus. It's a fiberglass bodied car that was developed by Morgan, I think back in '64, and they made just 26 examples. The purists were up in arms about it and pretty much killed it off. It is an unusual looking design. I don't know if you can see from here that passenger compartment is quite a bubble shape. Yeah, apart from the grille, that's about where the similarity with the rest of them organs stop. That's interesting anyway. So Donald Healey had an idea to develop a sports car that fitted in above the MGA but beneath the Jaguar XK, and this is what he came up with. So it's the Austin, well, originally Austin, but came Austin Healey 100. It's based on the platform of an Austin A90 Atlantic. It's a semi-monocoque, i.e. the bulkhead is welded to the floor, and it uses quite a number of parts that are carried forward from the A90. A 4-cylinder engine eventually became the 106 with the 6-cylinder engine from the Westminster when it went out of production. It was shown at the, I think, Earl's Court Motor Show in the early 50s, and immediately then it was picked up by Austin for a joint venture, and they took 3,000 orders at that particular show. Incredible, isn't it, for a sports car? This one's in absolutely stunning order. It really is. You can see why it's just that sort of leaping forward styling that they've got really suits that car, and that car went right the way through to the 3000 model as well, obviously with a fair bit more power. In this guy's 90 horsepower, I think the 6-cylinder went to about 102, and finally something like about 115. So this is a beautiful example of a late Mark III Escort, launched under the banner when it shifted to from rear-wheel drive to front-wheel drive of simple is efficient, apparently, and Ford sold these in the bucket load. So it was a gear, so it picked up different wheel trims, not alloys, picked up a bit of chrome around the front. This one's got spot lamps on it, it's got that lovely sort of velour type interior. Oh, they were, as somebody just said to me, they remind us of happier, more simple times, and I don't think they're wrong. That's a beauty. So made as a continuation of the original oval designed Reliant Scimitar GTE is this Middlebridge Scimitar. Quite a lot of modifications, about 350 modifications, and built at the factory in Grove Lane, Beeston in Nottingham. And in actual fact, 79 Middlebridge cars were made. I thought it was more than that. I'm surprised it was only 79, but thankfully all 79 cars still survive. This is a beauty, this orange one, isn't it? Fitted with the 2.9 litre Ford engine rather than the in the earlier Reliant cars. Obviously we've got the Essex V6, and then we've got this stunning blue one as well. That's a beauty, isn't it? Let's have a look at that one round the back. So again, you know, totally recognisable silhouette, but what survivors they are, aren't they? What survivors. So a big shout out to OG Cars. Check out their YouTube channel. They were due to be at Rustival and they had a few issues, and unfortunately only made it as far as Newport with this car. It's the original Wartburg, I think, with the 2-stroke engine in. I'm pretty sure it's the 2-stroke engine. The later VW, later cars used a VW engine. But yeah, it's made it here. And this is no trailer queen, absolutely not. It's been driven here from Wales. So well done, guys. So Armstrong Siddeley were an automotive company that sprang out of an aero company, a bit like Bristol did in actual fact. I think production finished in 60. There were models planned for 61 and 62. This one, I'm reliably told, is a 346, so 3.4 litre 6-cylinder. This one's an unusual car because apparently, I have it on good authority, there should be a quarter light here, and this car was specified without a quarter light in the back. Really unusual cars. They're really majestic. You could easily walk past these and mistake these for something else, and they've really got a fascinating history. So the oldest one-make car club in the world is apparently Jowett, and this Javelin, launched I think in 48, was massively ahead of its time. The company, I think it went bust sometime in the 60s due to the ability to produce bodies. Now this one's having a fair bit of fettling, speaking over the hammering. It's having an exhaust system now. Oh, look at those suicide opening doors. Wow, there's no shortage of passenger room, but the wheel work is going on underneath. So let's have a look with the guys. They're fitting an exhaust system underneath here, so I'm not sure that get down on my knees and have a look. I'm not sure how much that fun is, but I can certainly smell the WD-40. So under the Phoenix 4 leadership, MG was reinvented and MG X-Power, and they built this one-off car, the MG X-Power, and this is X-Power SV, built on the Cavalli Mangusta and using a Mustang powertrain, I think a 4.6 powertrain. Pretty rare on the ground. I think they struggled to sell them at the time. Unusually, can you guess where the front lights are from? No? They're from a Fiat Punto. So a lot of parts bin items in this one. I've had the opportunity to speak to one of the owners of these before. They're pretty rare these days and starting to be appreciated for their rareness and performance, but great as a halo car, but never really sold in huge numbers. So this 1961 TVR Grantura was an abandoned project taken on by the current owner, Boxers of Bits, I understand, and what a fabulous job he's done with turning that one round. Interesting style there. It's got a bit of a hint of Jensen in some of the paint. Jensen CV8 there, Jensen 541 in some of the styling. That interesting curved back screen, it's in beautiful order. So thanks once again for joining me on the Practical Classics Restoration Show 2024. I hope you've liked the cars we've seen and the interviews we've had. Please like, share, subscribe, turn on notifications so as to be informed of my next video. And once again, as always, thanks for watching.